Lagers, Pilsners, India Pale Ales, Double IPAs, Doppelbocks, Belgian Goldens. That's right, it's all here on another round of Brewsday Tuesday. Here's Drez and Big Nate.
Brewsday Tuesday resumes. It is Tuesday afternoon, after all. Evening? Isn't it after 6 p.m. is technically evening?
I've never really gotten a firm grasp.
It's
on
hard
time.
this time of year because it feels like we're not even close to evening. We're going to have 3 more hours basically of sun. So
I mean, I don't get in bed until like 1 a.m. anyway. So time's all subjective.
Either way, it is still Brewsday Tuesday, which means we are drinking beer. And big ups and thanks to our sponsor, the Cellar Restaurant and Six-Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg, which is where these ones came from. Went on a little beer run, and we just did a Nate's picks and a Drez picks. And, I do like to pick and focus on IPAs and stuff I haven't drank. But the other thing I really enjoy is most any beers that have a high ABV. So this round we're kicking it up a notch. And of course, when you get the best of both, have we been drinking already? Did we start?
Seems that way.
The best of both worlds is an Imperial hazy IPA. I have from Deschutes, the Haze Tron, which is coming in at a nice, respectable 8%.
So the Cellar is the only place I've seen that one.
This is the only place I've ever seen it as well.
Seems
Otherwise,
like
I would have bought it. So
for that brief period that Deschutes was in Roanoke, you had access to a lot of Deschutes beer, but I've never seen that one other than at the Cellar.
Yeah. So this is
because looking at that can, I would pick that up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it does have a pretty badass little logo there. If you're watching on the Facebook Live, you can check it out. Very Tron-esque. I think that's what they were going for, and I think they got it. And as far as the haziness, that's a damn good looking beer. That's just I'm excited. Although I don't know yours. I did grab that one because I figured I should get at least a little something that I think we will both enjoy. That one. Wow, you take it away from here.
I'm incredibly stoked on this. First of all, Flying Dog, easily one of my favorites. Their partnership with Ralph Steadman and their kind of commitment to Hunter S. Thompson's legacy has always been one of those things to me. It's every summer, without fail, I read one of Hunter S. Thompson's books. Last summer was The Rum Diaries.
What's this summer? We're well in.
We're gonna do Fear and Loathing on the campaign trail.
Oh, makes sense.
Because it's always a good time for that one. I love the way he wrote, but
that one was better, at least film wise. Fear and Loathing much better than Rum Diaries, I would say.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's another one. Have you seen Where the Buffalo Roam with Bill Murray playing Hunter S. Thompson? I think that's a better version of Hunter S. Thompson.
Really?
I do. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, maybe
love Johnny Depp's version of it, but I loved Bill Murray in that movie.
I guess what it comes down to is that the Fear and Loathing, I thought, did a very good interpretation of how, like, cinematically, how you would maybe be affected by taking all those crazy drugs. Whereas Where the Buffalo Roam, you didn't get that quite. They didn't quite hit it like I imagine. That's true. Probably was more accurate of the chaoticness that would have ensued on such a.
I just loved his whole model of like inserting himself in the story, and then like wherever it goes, and it always stuck out to me. But Ralph Steadman's art is also phenomenal. But this is the Gonzo Imperial Porter, and it's got one of my favorite quotes from Hunter S. Thompson, and it never got weird enough for me. Of course, it's a little tragic in retrospect when you realize that he took his own life in the early 2000s. But 10% ABV, and it says, for optimal freshness, enjoyed by vintage 21K. That's not a date. I'm assuming
21. So
vintage probably means it's good to go that long. So 21,000.
That's what I would think. So it's good for really. I don't know if any bottle
another
has
80 years.
Yeah.
78, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna drink it now.
I would say you're better off drinking it now. I mean, I know we drank these old the JR beers and stuff that are in front of. I guess I could show them to the camera, but these guys, we did pop these bad boys, and at that point, what were they? 30. Me and Huck drank those when they were 35 years old or something.
I mean, the fact
that
that
was
there's
cans though.
still 6 cans sitting in the studio unopened is just.
What do you think we were going to get
Testament.
that crazy? Where we pop? If you were there, you would know those aren't worth opening.
No, I do remember you both saying they weren't worth opening, but
we might have drank more rust than beer that day.
But I have to say, and I think that's kind of the point. Glass though does last. I
That's
think
what
you'd
I'm
be more worried about the
curious.
wax seal on the bottle cap, probably.
Exactly. I don't know how that would hold up.
But this is the
either way.
perfect
Yeah,
choice.
it's that beer is certainly not going to last that long, as it'll be gone by the end of the hour. No question about that. So it's a what is it again? Sorry, it's a porter.
The Gonzo Imperial Porter.
And we all know what that great word imperial means. This is the imperial round. Mine's 8%. Yours is
10.
Getting crunk on a Tuesday. That's the way we like to
It's
do
the
it.
only way. I mean, it flat out says it's got the skull Gonzo saying, "Okay, let's party." So we got to do it.
Definitely got to
We got to party.
But yeah, when you're talking about Flying Dog and how they have all the great artwork and stuff, have you been to Flying Dog?
I've not.
It's
It's one of
far.
those like
It's just,
bucket list items for me is to make my way up there.
it's just right up there, man. It's just right up in Maryland. It's not too far. It's worth the trip.
I do wonder what they're gonna do for label artwork once Ralph Steadman passes, because he's getting up in years.
I know, and they have.
And that's such an iconic part of their branding.
You're right.
Like they're gonna have to stop making new beers altogether.
I really hadn't thought that much about it, but because it is every single logo, isn't it? Every single label. Man, what a deal! I wonder what that sort of. Wonder how much. Wonder what sort of figure that deal landed on. Because a lot of people probably buy it simply from the labels. With a lot of them,
I definitely fall in that category.
it is really great artwork.
The first Flying Dog beer I bought was because of the it was Raging Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And just that crazy, like snarling dog. I was like, oh man, this is the beer for me. It's craziness going on. And of course, I've kind of been in love with them ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. My mind goes when you're drinking. Speaking of dogs on labels, I haven't seen it in so long, but do you remember there was a blueberry beer that had a dog on it? Had like a blue pit bull, or not a pit bull, a bulldog or something.
Okay, weirdly enough, I know exactly what you're talking about. My former stepdad actually had a T-shirt with the label. I couldn't tell you 1,000 years. I could never come up with the name of the brewery or the beer in my brain, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember that was one of the first things I learned to
Wild Blue.
draw.
Do they still make this? I remember when I was first getting into beer, that was like the blueberry beers and stuff, stuff like that was, and this one was great because not only was it very not beer like, but I'm looking at it right now, 8%, this Wild Blue.
Probably malt liquor.
Is this still around? Hensley Beverage Company. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to have another one of those. I probably would hate it now. That's one of those beers where it's just like, oh, it was delicious then, but now you're like, yeah.
Do you ever run into, kind of going through your Untapped and you've tried something years ago and you gave it a high score and then you come back and you're like, the hell was I thinking?
I haven't quite run into that yet, but I can imagine I will and would. See, I always seek out beers I haven't had before. So I think because of that, I haven't had a lot of repeats. But a lot of my go-tos, I'm trying to think of one that was like a go-to that now I just don't really like, and I can't think of anything. Have you've run into that where you're like, because my taste I know has grown since when I first started drinking beer. Obviously, I used to, couldn't even imagine drinking.
There was a
IPAs.
period, it was in college, where we were really into Yingling. And now, like, I almost can't even drink it. It was Yingling or Rolling Rock every weekend. And now, like, I can't even really stomach a Yingling.
Yeah.
I think there's just so much sugar in it.
Well, I mean, if we're going down that road, my first, and I think we might have done this on the the craft, the first beers, whatever. But the Love, that was one of the first craft beers, and now it's just like, whatever. Just a basic wheat beer. But one beer, kind of like the wild blue, kind of reminded me of it. That makes me want to seek it out, and I'm pretty sure that they just don't make it anymore. But Kugels used to make a beer, and it was called Sunset Wheat, and to me and my friends, we called it the Fruity Pebbles beer because it tasted just like Fruity Pebbles. It was just so sweet and delicious that like a non-beer drinker like me at the time was just like, oh man, this is amazing. But pretty sure they quit making that a long time ago.
For the first few years of going to the beach with the in-laws, they weren't my in-laws then. They were just my girlfriend's family. But I would always get a sampler pack of the Kugel's Summer Shandy, and that was breakfast every morning. So it's interesting that you said the Fruity Pebbles beer because they make some easy drinking beers.
Yeah, they have a ton of different shandies.
Yeah,
the Kugel's does. And
watermelon, not great.
Honestly, frankly, at this time, unless I'm like baking in the sun, beach or lakeside, I probably wouldn't really care for any of them.
I don't think I've had a shandy in 4 or 5 years.
Shandies, Radlers, I'm well beyond that. You like the Radlers?
Just because they're usually made with grapefruit for whatever reason, and I'm a sucker for grapefruit.
I hate grapefruit.
Well,
never like grapefruit.
I'm really glad I didn't give you the other one I had last week.
Oh, it's still in the fridge. I know it's inevitable that we're going to drink that one, but it'll be you popping that top. I did see when you grabbed all those fruity sours and stuff. I was like, oh man, what is this grapefruit?
I love a good Radler.
Yeah, I mean, they in the right time or place it can be, but we are not
breakfast.
Unfortunately, we are not by a lake or pool or anything. Like I said, right now we're in the Bear Studio, which is where we like to drink some good, hearty Imperial beers, which is what this segment is all about. I got Deschutes Haze Tron, the Imperial Hazy IPA from Deschutes, which, like you said, I mean, they're out of Bend, Oregon, but they do, they had a lot of, what do they call them? Satellite breweries popping up here and there. I guess they tried to do it out here and didn't quite work out. I still don't know if they've, I don't know. I haven't heard anymore. Huck was the one that always knew the news in that department and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's dead in the water.
Last time I was in Roanoke, well, no, not the last time, but when I was in Roanoke for the Burt Kreischer show, I accidentally found their storefront is apparently still like branded with the Deschutes stuff.
So
I was like, wait, you closed. What are you doing?
And it was like the bar or whatever,
yeah.
But it wasn't a brewery.
Correct. It was just a tap room.
But now that's not even
that's gone
anymore. Yeah. All right. Well,
which is a shame because
they do.
I do like Deschutes.
They can make some good beer. And in fact, this is a great case in point. This might be one of the better Deschutes beers I've had. I mean, it's everything I like about a beer. It's hazy. It's Imperial. It's just
almost
smooth,
gone.
Delicious. Yeah, it's pretty much gone. This one is probably a step above of that last round. That True Action IPA was very, very good, but this one is a little better. I'm gonna give it a 4.75.
All right. I mean, I love porters, so I'm biased on this one with the flying dog attachment, the Ralph Steadman art, the delicious beer. It's really smooth. It's not.
I mean, all I know is it's Imperial Porter. Is there any notes of anything you're picking up, or what?
I mean, coffee
just tastes like a porter.
Chocolate tastes like a porter.
Yeah.
A little bit of vanilla. It's not a beer you're going to sit down and have a steak with, but after your steak dinner, sitting by the fireside,
dessert,
you're going to want like 4 or 5 of these. Maybe
Ooh.
Not that many, but it's pretty damn delicious. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a 5.
All right. There you go. That was the big winner of the day. I'm pretty sure the beers ranked in order of ABV, if I'm not mistaken. We can go back and calculate them. But yeah,
clearly the key.
We like the big beers here on the Brewsday Tuesday. So yes, next week I think we will celebrate America's independence a day late, dollar short, and 6-pack full. I don't know. I didn't know where I was going with that, but we'll drink beer. We'll do that one, and then after that, I do have that fun special show that I'm really looking forward to doing. We're doing extra teases here, and I already know I'm talking with the boys with Sam and Brian. We're going to be out at Floyd Fest again.
And you
That'll be
guys
here
just
before
wait
you
till
know it.
Christmas.
Yeah, at this point, we're just a month away. Yeah, we'll be out there at Floyd Fest for that.
I'm very
Thursday,
excited for that.
Tuesday. Yes, indeed. I haven't been to Floyd Fest in quite some time because you even got to go last year. I didn't get to go last year.
Very
so.
near and dear to my heart. I love Floyd Fest.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to drink beer, after I wrap it up because I still got to try that Gonzo. But right now, I got to take a break, play a couple commercials. We'll come back with some rock and roll here on 105.3 The Bear. Y'all stick around.